Welcome back to the NIL Spotlight. My name is Jay Beasley, and I'm joined today with none other than Coy Love, UTA's very own basketball player, and NIL kind of genius, knows the way that it goes. Could honestly take my job if you wanted to.
Oh my gosh,
But
that's a lot of
you just,
pressure.
but you know it well enough,
I
and
do
I'm
know
like,
it
I'd
well,
let her do it.
but
We just had a couple questions here today. First off, we'll start with how has NIL affected your experience as a student athlete?
yeah, oh my gosh, NIL was such a big change, and it's kind of crazy that it happened like in the middle of my college career.
Yeah.
I feel like, of course, like the money and the brand deals and being able to get your name, image, and likeness out there and make money off of that, like
Mm-hmm.
that is amazing, and that's a big part of it. But I think one thing that people don't talk about enough is recruitment
Yes.
based off of NIL.
Yeah.
Like I remember getting into the portal and like a lot of my decision making was based upon, okay, not only am I going to go to a great school and a great conference where I know I'm going to play, but like who's going to pay me?
Yeah,
Like who
exactly.
has the NIL deals?
Yeah.
So I would say that's another big one that
Yeah.
people don't talk about a lot.
Yeah. Almost the city where a school's located is a big deal because if you're in the middle of nowhere and not a
Yeah.
lot of fan support, you're like, I'm not getting any deals.
Yeah.
Like at a place like the Dallas Fort Worth area, and especially Arlington, you're like,
Yeah.
there's
It's
there's
endless.
opportunity.
It's endless opportunities. We
Yeah.
have so many like from small like mom and pop shops like
Mhm.
with food and stuff to like the big corporations all run through Texas through the DFW
Yeah.
area. So I'm really looking forward to getting started with play and like get some of that money on it.
Yeah. No, I understand. So, is there any specific deal that you've done in the past with other schools or now with UTA that you've like just really enjoyed? It's meant a lot, that partnership with another company or anything like that.
Yeah, I would definitely say the Bumble deal that I had.
Mm.
I would say one, not only was it my first major deal and that chick was nice,
Yeah.
but I would also say it was important to me because I was able to make like a lot of mistakes
Yeah.
and learn, okay, this is what I want in the future, this is what I don't want, this is what companies expect out of me once you
Mm.
sign that contract. Like so I really enjoyed that one. And it allowed me a lot of creativity.
Yeah.
Like they gave me a lot of free reign to just advertise it however I want, as long as it was in the range of
Their
different,
guidelines.
yeah, there's specificities. But I would just definitely say that one because it was the first one, and I feel like you learn so much from the first one and you're
Yeah.
able to just grow and build off of it.
Yeah. That kind of goes into this next question. We and which is weird because you got to like jump into this world like halfway through college. You're like, okay, this NIL thing's happening.
Yeah.
But now we have these athletes that are coming in as a freshman and it's already here. So like, which is great for them.
Yeah.
Like the opportunity gets to start really quick.
Yeah.
But what advice would you give those athletes that want to start getting in NIL and for like our UTA athletes, like what is that? What are those key advice points that you would give them?
Oh my gosh. If I literally like I picture myself every day when I wake up, I'm like, dang, if I could just switch places, like I promise I'll be up 100,000
Yeah.
minimum right now.
Yeah.
No, but I'd say honestly, like the biggest thing, especially if I know I'm a top recruit, like I'm going to all these tournaments and I'm traveling all across the country, content, content, content.
Mm-hmm.
Get your name out there, get your face out there, get your personality out there. And obviously, keep the main thing the main thing. You have
Yeah.
to keep getting better because at the end of the day, they want the best. Like
Mhm.
each company wants the best players and the best whatever,
Yeah.
supporting them or being their brand, their person that represents the company.
Yeah.
But I would just say like if I know I'm going to a tournament, I'm gonna take pictures at the tournament,
Yeah.
whether we win or lose, have some game jerseys. If I know I'm going to something like overtime select,
Yeah.
like I'm trying to do, hey, can I do a day in the life? Like, can you guys spotlight me for today? Like
Yeah.
I'm trying to build my Instagram following, stuff like that. And then obviously we know those things like when you're top player in the country, those also play on like recruitment. Like you're looking at South Carolinas and Oregons and
Yeah.
UConn. So when you get to those schools, the exposure is only going to increase.
Mhm.
But I would just say like having that baseline of just growing that brand. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't matter where you start, just starting. Like I feel like Juju. I'm always bring up Juju.
No, that's a good one.
She's a great example of that. Like people knew who she was from sixth grade. Okay, she wasn't on Instagram doing TikToks in sixth grade, but like by the time she was in eighth grade and like ninth grade, like it started ramping up like little by little. And by the time now she's in college and she's got the biggest Nike contract.
Yeah.
Like period.
Yeah.
That's all she's got to say.
Yeah.
But she's also a very great player.
Yeah.
So I think just finding that balance of it all.
Yeah. And that kind of leads into this one because like your students
Mhm.
first, athletes second, and now you're like running a brand
Oh
third.
my gosh.
So how do you balance that? How do you balance all those three things together?
Yeah, I first say just take a deep breath.
Mm.
I would say take a deep breath because it can all get overwhelming. There are going to be bad practices. There are going to be deals that don't necessarily go through. There are going to be homework assignments where you actually don't know what you're doing, like even though you sat through a whole 3-hour
Yeah.
class. But I would just say take a breath, get a support system, get some type of team around you that understands what responsibilities you have and understands what's important to you.
Yeah.
And then you can go from there and kind of setting a schedule. Okay, highest priority to lowest priority. And sometimes that a lot of times that means sacrificing, like, going to have fun, going to do things that
Yeah.
regular college students get to do. But I feel like in the long run it's gonna pay off and it's gonna get you what you want.
Yeah.
So
And then last, and we've talked a lot about this brand idea.
yeah.
And for those that are listening and watching, this like the personal brand is really what these athletes are finally allowed to be compensated for.
Yeah.
And so how do you build that personal brand? Like you talked about posting on social medias from Instagram and I mean even TikTok. So what are ways that you have built that personal brand?
Yeah, that's such a good question. Well, first, I'm gonna say I built my brand by going to Instagram and making that account a business account.
There we go.
And whether you pick athlete, public figure, whatever, mine literally says brand.
Yeah.
Because like I don't want to be boxed into one thing. I want to
Yeah.
be whatever I'm capable of.
Mhm.
So I would just say being open to those possibilities. I think also another big thing that people want to see is authenticity. Like everyone knows when something on the internet is fake.
Yeah.
Like everyone can see straight through the BS. So I would just say like not being afraid to be vulnerable, but being comfortable with what you share. Because at the end of the day, it's your life and no one else is gonna live it.
Yep.
But I would just say not being afraid to be vulnerable and like show your fun, goofy side that maybe you were hiding before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like also your brand has to be in some capacity your sport and the sport that you play.
Yep.
And just being good at that and whatever kind of attitude you bring to the field, the court, the whatever platform you're playing on, I would say also try and some type of way communicate that on your socials.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you don't want to like if you're an athlete that's like maybe a more aggressive player on the field, like
Yeah.
that kind of is that's part of your identity.
Yeah.
So you don't want to switch it up and everyone's like, oh, she's so nice off the
Right.
court. It doesn't come off as authentic.
Yeah.
And yeah, the advice I think that's also important is exactly what you said about athletes that don't necessarily want to come out of that shell.
Yeah.
You almost are. You have to.
Yeah.
Because it's just like riding, I guess, the electric scooter first time through campus.
Yeah.
Not everybody's comfortable doing that, but like you got to get comfortable doing that because like you got to set those legs for practice.
You got to get to class. Let's really talk about it. So just get on the scooter. You're gonna be it's fine.
People are gonna look. It's okay.
It's fine. It's fine. And then at the end of the day, the people who are looking, they want the scooter.
Exactly.
So you're fine.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's been Coy Love for our NIL Spotlight, and as always, buck 'em.